Hi everyone. Good afternoon. After lunch sessions are pretty tough, but I'll try to make an attempt. So I've spent almost 15 years in AI space, first as an entrepreneur. We were trying to build chatbots in 2009-10, super early. And I remember at that point of time, Nandan had called for a meeting in cyber society. They used to be there, and somehow we managed to be in that meeting. And he talked about this vision for Aadhaar, and I had seen Minority Report those days, and he talked about retina, and biometric, and I was like, after I came out, there was a massive disbelief in our young minds, like, oh, is this going to happen at all? Second, is it going to happen in India? I grew up in a very small place. Can I imagine people using, stuff like that, which is like far ahead of the curve there? And I was telling this to him as well, as like, I couldn't believe it, but today, we are all using it. So when, in the morning, there was a talk about, can we take leadership in AI in India? Of course, there's a sense of disbelief, like, how could we even do that? But if we could take, leadership in the first societal scale implementation of technology like Aadhaar, we could do that in AI as well. Last 15 years, I've funded around 15 plus companies in AI. I co-founded a not-for-profit AI and robotics technology park called ARTPARK. And we realized very quickly in the last 4 months that, people are closing their ranks and, it is getting into that kind of like an arms race. People are not going to publish. So we need to build our own systems to figure things out, if you were to say. So I'll just take you through my thought process of what could happen in the next 10 to 15 years. So if you see this, and it's even more fundamental, and that's why I chose this topic. Now I'm standing in front of you. We just launched a fund, $100 million venture fund on AI and robotics art venture fund, and I'm talking about Society 4.0, I'm a vulture capitalist, right? And I'm talking about Society 4.0. But it's very critical and important we understand this fundamental connect that if we try to build Industry 4.0 without figuring out a similar evolution in our society, there will be a tear, and it will be a lot more deeper than we think it will be. So this is a curve that we see, and this is so if you see on 2029, that's the paper that I read when I said, okay, I need to drop everything and start building. In 2009, I said, I've got 20 years, might want to try build a few systems and see whether what Ray Kurzweil is talking about will actually come out true or not. But this is what we see, very quickly. Last 15 years of experience funding these companies, growing with them, what I see that we are moving into this era of what we call human-like AI. There's a company called Pixis. I'm involved as an advisor. They do generative AI for marketing cloud. And they've been phenomenal. They showed me a digital twin, which is beating the deepfake detectors. And I was like shocked. This was like 3-4 months back. And their model was a lot more efficient than DALI that came out. So what I see very clearly is that 60 to 70% of the problems will be solved by AI. And that's a very disruptive shift. I call it, AI-first companies. ChatGPT, OpenAI, the private version of it is definitely one of the first companies, but it won't be the last. If you see this curve, right, the unstructured data and unstructured environments will be navigated with AI in next 10 to 15 years. And that's a very fundamental shift. Somebody was talking about data annotation and things like that. Today that is becoming less and less of concern because we are seeing that there are things which we could do to unstructured data at scale, and that is very interesting. So what we see fundamentally this. We see that if you look at industrial economy, by 1975 we had connected up to 1 billion places with rail, with roads, and with flight and water, and we could ship the access production of one place to another. That was fundamentally the industrial economy. Knowledge economy, by 2005 we had connected 500 million people with that. But by 2030 we will have 7.5 billion people connected with 30 billion intelligent machines. That will be what we call as intelligence economy. And this is going to create $15.7 trillion of new economic value. And it's very fundamentally different because 90% of the value is going to be in the digital intelligent intangibles, what I like to say. And this is very real. So two major factors. One is what we call as intelligent automation. Second is what we call as extreme personalization. This is where the new value will actually come. And this is not just the digital tasks, right? Chat GPT, GPT-4 will try to do that, the digital task, but there's a whole bunch of effort which is on the way on the robotics side, which is looking at physical intelligence as an API. So we'll be doing both digital and physical tasks, and it'll create massive shifts. In fact, I think that by 2030, each of us will have a digital twin and a physical twin, and you would be, if you, I don't like to clean up my room, then maybe there is a robot or something that will do that. So you will have your own strength, human strength, and you will have complementary skills done by bots or physical things that might move around you. So it is going to happen. Of course, it's not perfect. ChatGPT suggested that I have another wife, which led to a lot of challenges at home front. Because I shared that with my wife and said, if it is answering so many things intelligently about you, that it might be right about this as well. But it turned out to be not true. So, thankfully, that crisis was averted. But it also posed the challenge that, fundamentally, we are not prepared to deal with the eventuality of these kind of intelligent machines working, collaborating with us. So we have to very seriously think about what would be the key exponents of Society 4.0. And we have to work together. We have to get industry, academia, government to work together on that. And there are 4 major elements that I see might crop up. One is that I think we would fundamentally move from money to fulfillment. My elder daughter told me after hearing so many conversations during COVID times that anything that will make money will get automated. And it was like a penny dropped. I was like, yeah, maybe she might be right. I mean, the young kids are a lot more smarter these days, right? They're equipped with GPT for doing their homework. But yes, that's something, vector that you might want to think aloud. Second is that fundamentally we'll move from doing job to work. Job is external motivation for doing something. You will move to express yourself, work to express yourself. And that's an overall shift that I see happening. So tomorrow, the talk should not be about like reducing jobs or new jobs. It has to be about work. Can you know more about yourself, and can you figure out where you could express yourself really well? Third thing is scarcity to abundance. So we have to move our thinking from scarcity, which is dominating everything. Today, AI arms race is dominated by scarcity, to move to abundance. And that's where I feel that crowdsourcing, collaborative models will actually be at the fore. Fourth is the most important one. We would have to learn to learn. It's not that I completed my education in IIT and I'm done with it. No, it's that we will be forever learning, not just about the world outside of us, but inside of us as well. And this is the movie I would strongly encourage you to see. It's a movie called Blade Runner 2049. And I saw it with my wife, which I took along. And she said that she needed a Karan Johar movie to get out of that movie. But it's very important that we think about the choices that we are making. And that is where I see that, like we are thinking about Industry 4.0 with AI, we also have to plant the seeds of right choices in building Society 4.0. Thank you very much.